you. Lovely to see everyone. This is the agenda for today. This is what we're going to go through. We've got an introduction from our Metro Mayor of the Liverpool City region, Steve Rotherham. Unfortunately, he can't be here today, but he's absolutely supporting the network and has sent us a recorded video, so we'll play that in a little bit. We've got the lovely Jill Walsh going through some background and rationale of the programme. A lovely Cornerstone employer and a great local employer with Leslie and Rachel talking through why it's important for employers to be engaged with young people. Then I'll put my other hat on, not my MC welcome to the meeting hat, and tell you a little bit more about the practicalities of what's going to happen over the next months. Then if we get to 10 to 12, open for questions, but happy to take questions in the chat as we go as well. So if we can go over to Steve and play that video, that'd be great.
Hi everyone, I'm sorry I'm unable to be with you all in person today, but I did want to send a quick message. The LCR Careers Hub will be vital in connecting our region's young people with the training and employment support that they'll need to put them in the best position to succeed. And not just in the jobs of today, but in the industries of tomorrow too. Because for far too long, too many young people in our region have been held back from fulfilling their full potential, not by a lack of talent, but by a lack of opportunity. As Mayor, that's something I want to put right through my young person's guarantee. It's the promise of a job, training or an apprenticeship to our region's young people. A promise of hope and a chance to succeed, if you like. The fact that we've already helped to create 10,000 jobs and 7,000 apprenticeships is testament to the impact that we're having. But I want to build on that success. The Careers Hub will support the work by helping to join the dots between education and businesses across our city region. This is a chance for employers of all sizes to work with us to identify and plug the skills gaps in the sectors that our economy is going to rely heavily on in the future. Now, my vision is to make the Liverpool City region the country's fairest, most inclusive place to live, work and do business in. A region where no one is left behind. And I know that's a lofty ambition, but it's a realistic one too, because if we are to punch above our weight and reach the region's full potential, we have to think bigger and better. So thanks everyone. I'm looking forward to working with you all and hopefully see you soon.
Great. As I say, it's really important for us to have the support of our Metro Mayor in this employer forum, and he's hoping to get involved a little bit further down the line as well. So our first speaker today probably needs no introduction, but I'm going to hand over to Jill Walsh, who is the Careers Hub lead at the Liverpool City Region Careers Hub.
Thanks, Michelle, and morning, everybody. Great to see so many faces and familiar names as well that's joined us this morning. And what I'm going to do this morning is just very quickly just run through some details around, I suppose, while we're all here, the Careers and Enterprise Company, sort of strategic priorities, and then actually localising that as well. So I'm not intending to go through all the details on the slides because obviously you'll get them afterwards, but it's certainly a lot of this information that we will start to build on and work through as we progress during the next 12 months on this great network. So first of all, I just wanted to share really who is part of the hub and how do we actually work. So we work really closely in partnership with a number of organisations across our region that really make the team, there's a real strength around the experience, the expertise, and a lot of these organisations are already working within our schools and colleges. So it actually really helps us to really provide additional support across our schools and colleges, and for us to enable to look at where are the challenges, where are the gaps, where are the opportunities for us to really make impact for our young people. And I know a lot of our colleagues are on today as well. And I just wanted to give you a bit of an oversight on the hub. So we are this year moving into, it's 137 secondary schools and colleges. And as you'll see there, there's very much a split on our mainstream schools, our 9 FE colleges and 2 of our 6th form colleges, 30 special education needs schools, and then we've got 6 of our alternative provision. So a great mix of our institutions across the region. And obviously we've got a total of 12 of us that are actually supporting, and each of my team members has a portfolio of schools and colleges that they actually go in, work directly with those career leaders to ensure that they've got a fantastic, great careers plan, and identifying how we can actually support students more. So what I'm just going to talk about now really is the framework that some of you may well be familiar with. I know some of you are really familiar with, some might not have never seen this before. And again, this is part of what we want to do over the next 12 months to get you to understand what schools and colleges are working towards, and how you as employers can then actually help us to actually deliver some of these Gatsby benchmarks. So it is a world-class careers guidance scheme that we're running in partnership with the Careers and Enterprise Company. And a lot of our schools are, this is ingrained within the careers plan across all year groups. So we are definitely starting at year 7, right the way through to year 11 or through to year 13 if it's 6th form, and obviously into our FE colleges. And these eight Gatsby benchmarks is around ensuring that every young person, irrespective of age, ability, and has the opportunity to really, be open to work experiences, experiences with the likes of you in terms of employment, and about the opportunities, the career pathways, the aspirations for them as they actually move through education. So that's really what all the Gatsby benchmarks are about, and we will come back to that in more detail as we move forward. What I just wanted to cover very briefly today really is the priority areas and the actual careers and enterprise strategy, moving us up to 2024. And you'll see some of the key words on there that we're looking at. It is around how we can actually, have impact on our young people. So, how we actually ensure that it's those that need the help most that we're actually reaching, and that we are actually having a significant impact on those individuals. We want to make sure that it's inclusive of everybody, irrespective of which school they're at, ability, and the focus that we have around our SEND students, and our students in alternative provision as well. So really removing the barriers, and you as employees have a really vital role in terms of being able to engage. And and some of the work that's currently going on is truly inspirational in terms of really getting our young people to think that yes, that is something that I can go and do. And be really successful at. We're also looking at how we actually support our leaders. So that includes within our schools, within our colleges, and also from your perspective as well, how we develop you in terms of the support that we can give, both from an employer perspective, but also your individual employees as well. And that's certainly part of the master classes that we're going to be running this year. I'm not going to go through every aim on there, but you can see there it is around impact, inclusion, leadership, about putting young people at the heart of the work that we do, looking at the way that we actually transition our students from year 11 into college, or from college into apprenticeship, whichever route they're deciding to go to. Have they been equipped to actually make the right decision? And there's obviously a lot of work around that as well. And obviously, removing barriers for our most disadvantaged, which is key to a lot of the work that we do. We've really got 2 gaps to close in terms of what we're looking at. So it is the opportunity gap. So, what opportunities have we got out there? And for me, the focus for us is around actual Liverpool City region. There is so much opportunity. And my work linking in through the growth platform is the fact that we're looking at our growth sectors and where are the jobs of the futures coming from, and what are you as employers telling us about the opportunities that you can see coming through your sectors and the sectors that are obviously emerging as well. And then obviously for us to link that, the gap between the world of work and education. They're 2 very different places, but they definitely come together, just in the way that we talk in business to the way we speak to young people. And I think that's where, you know, we're here as a collective to really sort of join the dots between the two worlds for us. So there's 5 areas of focus that you'll see on the, and I'm not going to go into too much detail now, but yeah, we've got a real focus around employers and the support we can give you. Teacher encounters, about us really looking at how we can get our teachers out into industry and actually out into understanding the world that you work in. Preparing for PAL, so that's provider access legislation, and there are some changes, and that's all about how we get training providers, employers into schools and actually showcasing at different year groups the opportunities and the pathways that there are. And there's more detail that will follow on that. Youth voice is really key for us. So what are our students telling us? What do we need to know from them? And us really using our student voice to actually, in effect, actually change some of the ways that we work. What do they need, and can we actually respond to that as well? And then the final one on the right hand side that I can't see is obviously closing the gap for young people. So again, looking at our disengaged, our disadvantaged, and how do we really close that gap, certainly coming out of COVID as well. And then just on the next couple of slides, certainly this slide, I think for me is the focus. So what I've done is just sort of localize this for you in terms of the current engagement, and a lot of you that are on today are already engaged with us. And I just wanted to sort of summarize, and I think this slide just shows you the engagement we already have, the volume of employees across our region that are already working across our schools and colleges, and the connections that are actually happening. And hence why we wanted to bring the employer network together. And Michelle's going to talk a little bit more around what that's all about a little bit later. And we've also got each school and college is actually linked to a business enterprise advisor. So this is around us bringing some different business to directly work with my team, one of my team, and with that career leading school to help them to develop, to support, you know, to do that link into other industries and other people that you know, to really ensure that you know, the program that they've got is definitely sort of meeting the needs of those students. So we're always looking for new enterprise advisors to come along, and again, these are things that we will explore through the network as we move forward. We've also got 150 plus volunteers that are on our given hour, which means that schools tell us about events, activities, maybe specific areas that they want to focus on in school, and we actually share that out with our volunteer list, and that gives different employees an opportunity to go into different schools depending on diary commitments. And again, we'd love to grow that, and certainly from an employer perspective, getting a number of your employees to actually join us on that. And I've also listed under volunteers, obviously STEM ambassadors, which through All About STEM with Michelle, we have a great network of STEM ambassadors, and I think some have joined the call today again to actually work with us. And then on the right hand side, we have 10 cornerstone ambassadors that work with us really closely. It's great for us to have those ambassadors directly sort of linking in to me and the team, and it really helps us to I suppose bring together what's going on within Liverpool City region, what's going on out there in terms of the economic environment, and really looking at things we need to consider now we can really drive forward. And I'm going to introduce you to our chair of Cornerstones in a couple of minutes. And we're trying to get that group so that we're actually reflecting a lot of our growth sectors across the region as well. So we've actually got input from across to show that diverse range of sectors for our region. And then I'm just very quickly, I'm not going to run through these, but this is just to show you on some of the key things that alongside sort of supporting the schools from that strategic perspective, making sure that what they've got in place in school is really key. But we're then also trying to look at how do we test, how do we apply where we think there are gaps and opportunities, and sometimes we will lead on some specific programs to try and actually develop that pilot in certain areas in certain schools, and then actually try and facilitate that and actually bring together some wider opportunities for our young people. So you'll see what on there I've just listed different things that we're working on and through the Gatsby benchmarks on as well. And then if we just move on to just to showcase closing the gap for young people, you'll see there's a lot of different things that we're currently working with across a number of employees across the region as well. And if obviously during the next couple of meetings, quarterly meetings, and that obviously we'll pick up on some of this work. But I just wanted to give you that sort of focus really on what we're actually doing. So what I wanted to do now is to introduce you to Lesley Penton, who is the Partnership Director for the Regender Group. Lesley came on board as a cornerstone for the Regender Group and actually now chairs our cornerstone group. I've just mentioned before about our cornerstones. It's really useful for us to obviously have that voice and specific group to actually lean on to share their experiences. But more importantly as well, it's about the work that employers are doing currently across our region and how that impacts the work that we do as well. So, you know, it's really important for us to have, I suppose as well, employers who are out there in our region actually talking to you about the work that they're doing, and that hopefully you can see that benefit as well. So without further ado, I am going to hand over to Lesley.
Thank you. So yes, so we are part of Cornerstones, Regender Group. But for us, very much, I wanted to just kind of give you a bit of an overview of why we felt it was important, why we wanted to do that work, and also why we wanted to build in something for our staff to be able to be involved in. So the Regender Group, for those that don't know, we are a regeneration organisation. We're a group of companies and we regenerate places to provide opportunities for people to thrive. We're values-based in our recruitment, and one of our key areas that we provide those opportunities is through training, skills and careers. So it felt like a natural fit to be working with the Growth Platform, the Careers Hub, and within the Cornerstones group. I know that whether we've got employers on the Cornerstones group or not, there's a lot of organisations who are going out to schools doing fantastic things. We know that as we hear from those individual schools, secondary and primary, by way of making a difference. And I think, you know, for us, what we like about working through in this way is it's measurable. And I think we can really make a difference. We recognise, you know, we've got housing association at our core. We recognise it's our tenants and our residents who very often don't get the opportunities to get the well-paid jobs, the careers going forward in the city region. So it's how we can look at providing exposure to our workplace in order to inspire young people and to provide some of that aspiration, because very often some of those young people don't have that, whether for whatever reason. So I think that it's really important to our mission and what we do, but it's also really important to the economic future of the city region. And I would just be made up. I mean, I'm looked on the chat and I can see there's a number in our sector. So big up the housing sector, because I can see Plus Dane and Live and Onward. And if I've forgotten anybody who I haven't seen, I'm sorry. But yeah, I mean, we recognise that young people in our communities are not getting those opportunities. This is a way of being able to be involved, to measure it, but also to build on our future workforce. We recognise we're not getting young people into the right careers with the right either qualification or the right attitude. You know, it doesn't matter whether people are coming out of school with a suitcase full of qualifications. They can turn up for work on the first day, and there's, you know, we often hear from employers, young people are not coming out equipped to work. They may have qualifications, they may not. So there's lots to do, lots of activity, lots of ways of being able to evaluate social value, lots of other things we can do. And really, today is about looking at what you might need from us as well. So what can we support you with? What can we help you with going forward in this network? So thank you.
Thanks, Leslie. That was really great. And yeah, I would say to you, you know, obviously there'll be lots of things maybe going around in your mind today, but if there's anything that's, you know, you're thinking about now, we could do with, you know, additional support with this, we could do with training, you know, all of that would be great. Either throw it in the chat or send us an email afterwards, because, you know, we've got a plan of what we're going to do this next 12 months, but we also want to evolve that, and Michelle will be taking that up. Before we just move on, I just wanted to introduce you to one of our team in the Careers Hub. So Leslie Ann, I'm just going to put a camera on. Leslie Ann Craig is one of my operational hub leads, and actually leads on our employer engagement. So we already have lots of things like that I said on the slide earlier that have been happening, and there's great work that she started while we were actually in the COVID pandemic. So I just wanted Leslie Ann just to introduce herself.
Hi everyone, as Jill says, I'm Leslie Ann Craig, so I'm the Operational Careers Hub lead for the Liverpool City Region Careers Hub, so you'll be seeing a lot more of me on this network. So I'm going to be working very closely with All About Futures on the delivery of this network, and I'll be bringing together all of the existing Careers Hub employer engagement offers that we've got that Jill ran through, such as Given, our EA, etc. And we'll be bringing them together and streamlining them for you within this network to help you as easily as possible support our local schools and colleges and develop your own school outreach. So if anyone's got any wider questions just about the Careers Hub or any questions in general, please feel free to get in touch with me and I'll put my email in the chat. Right.
Thank you. Back to you, Michelle.
Fab. Thanks everyone. Our next speaker today is another organisation that's been heavily involved in a lot of the things that we've managed over the last few years. But it's no good me saying it. I'll just hand over to Rachel Baker, who's the Managing Director at JJ Smith.
Hi everybody, it's great to be on here, and so like somebody else said it earlier, it's really nice to see so many people super enthusiastic about this for the region. It's really, really encouraging. So for those of you who don't know, JJ Smith is a woodworking machinery company. We're based in Knowsley. We're only a small business. We've got about 40 employees, but we're absolutely passionate about apprenticeships and training and skills. And so we've been doing a lot of outreach work, both through some things that we've come up with on our own, but also working closely with Michelle's team and coming up with events that we think will be really targeted to some of the schools within the region. So we worked, one of the examples of that was something that we did last year, last academic year, which was about inviting particular groups from particular schools into our business to come and have a day for those young people that were thinking about an engineering apprenticeship. So we invited a number of firms. Live Housing, I know are on the call, they came along as well, and there were about 8 or 9 different employers, and we all had sort of stands within our workplace. Each school brought a minibus of children for about an hour's session each, which meant that each one of those young people got a really high quality interaction with an employer that was prepared to offer them work experience, was prepared to offer them interviews for apprenticeships, and kind of really able to talk in detail. And the feedback that we had from the schools was that because it was in our workplace as opposed to us going into the school, they'd had to really engage with it. And I think for us, that meant that by the time they'd arrived on the minibus, or in one school's case, they actually walked because the minibus broke down. So they were that desperate to come. It was their first trip out of school in 3 years. And they came and they walked and they had a great time. And the feedback from the young people was that they'd had conversations that they didn't know about, jobs that they didn't know existed. And I think that's the real key for us, is you can't be what you can't see. And I think that's for us is the really powerful message. We're only a small organisation. We're never going to advertise on national TV. Nobody's going to know about us through that way. But we provide really amazing apprenticeship opportunities for young people. We can provide work experience, we can provide mock interviews, we can do all of these things, and we can talk to people about their futures. And I think unless you engage with those young people, how will they ever know about your business? And so from a business perspective, there is a moral aspect to this, and that is absolutely the right thing to do for the young people of the region. But there's also a business benefit in that you can find the best young people out there if you engage with some of these fantastic schools and fantastic young people. So yeah, so I would encourage anybody who's half thinking about doing it, just jump in with both feet. And particularly if you can get the engagement, for those of you who are doing apprenticeships, and that's the target audience that you're trying to aim at, what we've found is that the apprentices who, when you first ask them, are you prepared to do a schools event, some of them are a bit nervous and they're not sure if they want to do it, and actually they've all loved doing it. And the conversations that current apprentices will have with somebody who's in school are a completely different conversation. I'm a dinosaur as far as somebody who's 14 is concerned. But when they're talking to somebody who's 19, who's in the second year of their apprenticeship, and they're saying, my employers helped me learn to drive, or I've been on all of these courses, or I've been to Poland and I've been to Spain and I've done all of these things, and this is what I'm getting paid, and this is what I've managed to buy, and all of those sorts of things. Those are different conversations. So yeah, engagement from not just the HR department or not just from the social responsibility element, I think is really important. It's people having real experience of real jobs. So yeah, engage with everybody. That's my message. And yeah, there's so much support out there. So for our day that we hosted, we had loads of support from All About STEM, because they had contacts with schools that we didn't have contacts inside, and they were able to help us with some of the benchmarking. So we're hoping to host that event again next year, and we're going to increase the benchmarking from the one that we managed last year to the next level. That's not a skill that we have. I run an engineering company. I don't know necessarily about benchmarking things. So use the other people that have got those skills. But yeah, thanks, Michelle. That's all I.
Oh, thanks very much, Rachel. That's great. One of the things that I would say is that that's key to this network is that idea that we are a collective and that hold together we're kind of stronger. And the idea for the employer network is that we can really join the dots. One of the things that has been said in the chat about the slides, we will circulate the slides and we will circulate the recording as well following the session. So I'm putting my kind of different hat on now, just to tell you a little bit about how we kind of came to be here, really. Pre-pandemic, most of you will know me and the team as All About STEM. We've done lots of different projects around science, technology, engineering and maths over the last kind of 12 years. But pre-pandemic, we just felt that we were getting asked more and more to kind of cover all careers and all pathways, and we started working on some projects that were much broader. So we launched a sister brand, All About Futures, and we are tweeting live on at All About Futures today. A sister brand, All About Futures, to kind of, as I say, cover all the different sectors and the different pathways. So we managed to tender for the employer network, working really hand in hand with Jill and the team. And one of the things that we've heard from employers for a long time is that there's so much out there that it needs almost translating and finding, what are the things that we can get involved in. And hopefully this network will kind of answer all them questions. Following on from what Rachel said there, last year when they did their kind of open house day, one of the great things about that was one of the companies that had gone along to JJ Smith actually hosted their own open house yesterday. And they had school children going in and learning about their local business. And I think that's the key. This is a Liverpool City region employer network. This is about looking at our city, looking about the needs of our employers to kind of plug the skills gap and kind of and have some wraparound support really for you guys to translate the kind of world of work to our schools and colleges. So it'll be me and the team working hand in hand with Leslie Ann at the Careers Hub that will be managing the network. And I wanted to tell you a little bit more about how that's kind of going to look. So moving on for me, Gemma. what's next? So after today, after our launch, we've got a great number of people that have already signed up to this launch. We are presuming you want to be in the gang, and you are in our employers network. So you will be invited to quarterly meetings. Our first quarterly meeting is next week on the 27th, and I sent the link out to register that, but I'll send it again when we do the follow-up to this. And the quarterly meetings really are an opportunity to kind of share best practice. This network is really about you. It's not about us telling you what you need. We really want it to be a two-way street. We want you guys to tell us what you want, what you need, and we can kind of see how we can support that with schemes that are already live, with programs that are already available. Most of them are fully funded as well, which is great. So the quarterly meets are kind of the stakes in the ground, every quarter, starting next week. But there's going to be something every month. There's a whole program of events for the network. These are the quarterly meets, and if you want to get your phone out, you can kind of register now. They're all set up. There's going to be keynote speakers and discussions and all that kind of thing as well. So in between the quarterly meetings, we're going to have a newsletter. And again, you know, it's about sharing best practice. I would love input from all our employers who are on the call. Again, that sharing best practice, that's really, really important to us. In between the quarterly meetings, what we're going to be doing is running some masterclasses as well. So the next slide kind of shows you the kind of themes and topics for our masterclasses. And as Jill said in the beginning, this is going to be an evolving network. We're going to kind of go with what you're telling us as well. But these are our themes to kind of hang our hat on, if you like. We want to be talking about how you can engage with schools right now. You know, what programs are available. You know, what difference has it made, you know, post-pandemic. We talk about CSR all the time, you know, but it needs to be more than words. We'll be doing a masterclass on school engagement, social value, and how that can support your CSR. Using school engagement as a recruitment tool, I think this is a really powerful one. You know, I can see on the chat, you know, that idea of coming to talk to young people in schools and colleges and getting in young, and you know, it's great to see so many people on the call, but I would love to see everybody at the quarterly meetings and signed up to the masterclasses as well. We're going to be talking about school engagement to support diversity, inclusion and social justice, and the kind of like one of my favorite things to talk about with employers is actually the impact it has on staff when you start getting involved in these types of programs, when you start working with young people, and especially you know, the young people in our city, the kind of knock-on effect to employers is just fantastic. So that's kind of the idea. So we've got newsletters, we've got masterclasses, we've got quarterly meetings, but I really want to make this network the powerful tool that I think it can be, because the most important thing is that we continue the conversation and keep the momentum going. As I say, the first quarterly meeting is next week. The sign up is there, and we want to make sure we get as many people involved as possible to make a difference and inspire our kind of future generation of employees. We don't want to recreate the wheel. We want to talk about programs that are already impactful and measured and have had great successes. We also want to share best practice. You know, there's so many of you doing so many brilliant things already. It's just nice to kind of share that and see what works. So continuing the conversation is kind of the call to action for today. This was our launch of the network. We will be following up with an email to make sure people are signed up to the quarterly session, which is next week. We're always going to be looking for speakers at our sessions, and again, as I say, that sharing best practice is really, really important to us. Everybody should have my email, and I would just like to say, you know, thanks for signing up. Thanks, you know, the support already has been brilliant. This is an important job. This is not about just doing some nice stuff with kids. This is about inspiring the next generation and plugging the skills gap in our region. I'm going to open it up. We'll lose the slides, I think, and if anybody's got any questions, we can take some questions. I'm not seeing anything in the chat as far as questions. We'll unless I've missed something.
Michelle, just while we've still got everybody on, it would be great if we could just let everybody know, and we will share the link out, but we went live yesterday with the new BMO career portal with the Combined Authority, which focuses on everything that young people right the way through to adults would want to know about Liverpool City region, about apprenticeship opportunities, about the different sectors, average salaries, vacancies currently. It launched yesterday. We were fortunate to have some of our student career champions attend as well, 20 of the young people that came along. So as part of this, the follow-up we will share, and be great for you all to get on it, and you can actually register as well, and that will open up a whole world of other things as well. But it's actually an app-based portal, and I think it's the first from across the whole of the country that's actually gone on an app-based solution via Google and Apple. So looks fantastic. Obviously it's just at the start of the journey, so again, I think, you know, a call of action for everybody is that please get on it, have a look at it. If you think there's things that's missing, that's we need to be putting more information in it about your sector, about your industry, please get in touch with us, and we will route that through to the team within the Combined Authority that we've been working really closely on. So we'll send those details out. I think it goes live marketing social media wise tomorrow. So just a quick one.
Yeah, it's a bit of you heard it here first, and I think that's kind of what we want the network to be, because there is so much great stuff out there. It's just making sure that we've got a channel to make sure that you are hearing about it first. So the link is in the chat for BMO. Thanks, Leon. That's brilliant. And if there's no questions, we will call this meeting to a close. We're going to hang around for the next kind of 10 minutes or so. So if
Michelle,
yeah, go, Leslie.
Sorry to interrupt. Just one more thing before everyone darts off. Just a good opportunity to remind you that on Tuesday, the 22nd of November, we will actually be holding the Liverpool City Region Careers Hub Conference in person at Anfield Stadium. So we're bringing together head teachers, careers leaders, local businesses, enterprise advisors. Hopefully all of this network can come along and we can meet in person and share best practice and get to know each other and develop some next steps. So hopefully there'll be some great sessions there for you guys to jump on and learn a bit more about what we're doing and how you can support. So details about that will come in the newsletter.
We'll pop that in the follow-up as well, Leslie-Ann, so people can see the details for that. I love that there's networking happening in the chat. That is exactly what we wanted. That is
fantastic.
Exactly what this network is for. You know, we are definitely going to make an impact in our young people by working together. As I say, we'll be hanging around for the kind of next 10 minutes. You know, a little bit of talk amongst yourselves on the chat. But as I say, everybody's registered with the network by signing up to this meeting. Please spread the word to your supply chain, to your friends, family. You know, the more people we've got involved in this network, the better it'll be. So yeah, great. Thanks everyone.